Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Breaks with B. I'm so happy to have you here and I'm so excited for this new year, this new decade. How are you feeling? Are you feeling like this new year is just filled with new opportunities and it's just ripe for the taking? Or are you still feeling maybe a little bit of residue from the past year that has tried to trickle in and follow you into this new decade? Well, however you're feeling, no matter what's already happened in this new year, I wanted to hop on and talk to you guys about the importance of taking inventory and letting go of things that need to stay behind and bringing and gathering with you the things that you need to push forward. In this new decade, we are all afforded opportunities that really only come around once every 10 years. Now is a really great time to look at how far you've come over the past 10 years and take a look ahead at where you may be going. And in this looking ahead, you want to feel free to move forward and really put your best foot into this new decade. For many of us, maybe we felt like we've come to a point where we're in a relationship or a habit or a behavior or a position in our lives that we really just can't get to the other side of. And that's exactly how I had been feeling this past year and going into this new year. So over the past year, as I began seeking the Lord more seriously than I ever had before, I felt like there was this constant bungee cord tied around my waist, and the anchor was on all my past mistakes, all my bad habits, all my past relationships, basically everything that I had ever done wrong. And so in this position, I was, trying to go forward, trying to push, trying to just keep going towards what I know God has for me. But it was like this bungee cord would really only let me get so far before I felt the tension pulling me back and pulling me back. It was really frustrating, to say the least. I felt like I kept getting to a certain point in relationships, situations, places with my business, places with myself, and places with the Lord, and it was like I couldn't go any further. And yes, I had asked for forgiveness, and yes, I had prayed, and yes, I had, mentally told myself that I'm forgiven and that I need to let these things go and just move on and push forward. But for some reason, there was still that anchor and there was still that bungee cord. It was in this frustration that I felt the Lord prompting me to take inventory of my life. He had me look at my relationships. He had me look at my habits. He even had me look at my language, what I was speaking over myself, what I was speaking over those around me. And while I felt like I personally was ready to move forward, I really felt the Lord telling me, before you go any further, what needs to stay behind and what needs to come with you. I feel like that's a really strong message for all of us in this new decade, because there are things that need to be left behind, and there are still things even in that need to come with you. Let me give you a little bit of a word picture here, kind of what this whole situation looks like. And really what God showed me when I was looking and taking inventory is that, we have these mountains in our lives, and we can get stuck so easily just going around the same mountain. These mountains are fear, insecurity, doubt, loneliness. They are all of the things that the enemy puts in our lives, inside ourselves, that keep us toiling without any forward movement. And I had been stuck going around these same mountains for so long that I had become comfortable in these feelings. I had become comfortable with this cycle, to the point where it became a part of who I was. It became a part of my identity. I identified more with my fears than with my faith. I identified more with my doubt than my belief. And I identified with my insecurities. It was almost like I wore this badge of like, I'm broken and I am proud and I have been through what I've been through and this is just the way that I am. And God said, no, it's not who you are. It's not who I've made you to be, because I have given you so much more. I have put a purpose in you to be and do so much more. So here I was, living in the valley of darkness that kept me pressed down. And every day I would wake up from the valley and I would go up to the mountains of my insecurities and my doubts and all my shortcomings, all my cycles, and I would just toil around those mountains. Every night I would go back down into the valley and just stay there. And it's in this place that you're really living in darkness. But you can't stay in darkness forever. We all get to a point where we get frustrated. We get so fed up with being fed up. We get so tired of being tired, as everybody likes to say, that you decide, you know what, enough is enough. I'm going to do something about this. And it doesn't matter that I've surrounded myself with people who are in the exact same situation that I am. It doesn't matter that these fears, these mountains, these cycles seem so much bigger than me. It doesn't matter anymore. I'm ready to move forward. And it's in that desire to want to move forward that God begins to do a new work in you. It's time to get out of the valley of darkness. It's time to leave those old mountains behind. It's time to get your things, take only what you need, and push forward. On this new journey, you're going to realize something. As you begin to leave that valley of darkness behind, you're going to realize that it gets deeper before it gets steeper. You're going to have to dig in deep to really root out why you stayed there for so long in the first place, before you can begin pushing forward up a new mountain and out of the valley and into the light. And as you emerge into this light, and as you begin to see that there are new mountains ahead of you, you're going to see that even though every mountain has a peak that takes it into another valley, the valley of darkness behind you cannot give you what you need to get through to the other side. There are things that have to stay behind. You can't take those same insecurities and those same fears and those same negative internal dialogue. It can't come with you, because these new mountains afford new opportunities and new challenges. And there are things from the past that have prepared you for the future, but there are also things that are holding you back. Whatever those things are, you have to leave them behind and go forward. Yes, it is still going to be difficult, and yes, there are still new trials and new mountains that come, but as you move forward, you will see that rather than going around the mountains and getting stuck toiling, you are going up and down and up and down, and you are pushing forward rather than staying stagnant. And that is what growth is all about, and that is what growth with God is all about. It is about pushing forward and not remaining stagnant in old cycles. The enemy wants you to stay stuck, because in this stuck position, he keeps you from your perfect timing. He keeps you from your moments. He keeps you from your purpose. He keeps you from touching lives, operating in your purpose, dreaming big dreams, and actually working towards making them a reality. He makes you miss your timing. But God has something so much more for you, and he is so ready to equip you, if he has not already equipped you, with everything that you need to get to the other side. I promise you that what God has placed inside of you, your purpose, is so much bigger than your fears. It's so much bigger than your insecurities. It's so much bigger than your doubts, and it's only something that you can do. And it's something that other people in this world need you to do. Because if you're not operating in your purpose, if you're missing out on who you're made to be, there are so many people who are missing out on that person as well. So we can't take our old mountains, our old habits, our old selves into this new decade. It's time to take inventory and make a decision. Do you want what's new, or are you still satisfied with what is old? Isaiah 43:19 says, "Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a road in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." Don't let the new thing that God is doing be tainted by the old residue of your past. So I encourage you today to take inventory and decide what needs to stay behind and what needs to come with you.